So we have with us today Pooja Bedi, actor extraordinaire. I mean, I don't think she needs any introduction, but I thought I'll tell you what she's up to now. I mean, which is something very unique. She's come up with a wellness venture. It's a lifestyle brand called Happy Soul. I'm assuming it's something to do with you being a happy soul. And so I'd like you to tell us something about, the journey of, from being an actor to where you are today, being a happy soul, and curating these lovely products for people all over the country. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you. It's a pleasure to be on this particular discussion. I am so happy whenever people reach out to me, because in some way or the other, I feel I can always spread some sort of a message. It could be about women empowerment. Now the day is coming, and it's most important for us to break the bias, which is the theme of this year, 2022's Women Empowerment Day, Women's Day. So I think all in all, it's going to be a great discussion. I'm happy to be on, and thank you for calling me on this discussion. So a little bit about me. I have donned many hats over many years, starting from being in films, being an actor, then a TV actor, as well as a reality show enthusiast, as well as a talk show host and a columnist, a relationship columnist with the Times of India for the last 18 years. It's like an award-winning column on relationships. And I think in every way, my journey has just taken me from strength to strength. And every single profession that I have taken on has in some way led me to Happy Soul today, in the sense that if you even look back at the way I began my journey with my grandparents, Frida Bedi, my grandmother from my father's side, who was an English lady who turned into a Buddhist nun and is responsible for the spread of Buddhism across the West, highly revered and renowned. The 3 books written on her life. There's my Dadaji, who's a spiritual healer, where I'm the 18th descendant, direct descendant of Guru Nanak Sahib. Wow. My mother, Pratima Bedi, who was so into gods and goddesses and universe and philosophers and Carl Jung and Freud and and Krishnamurti and Osho, and I grew up with all of this around me. So to me, at about 2002, when I really started personally exploring all these different alternative sciences, I did courses in Usui Reiki and Karuna Reiki and shamanism and Heal Your Life and Soul Temple and I did courses in neuro-linguistic programming. I did clinical hypnosis. I learned a lot of different modalities and tried to string it together into some sort of a cohesive structure, where I said, how do all these amalgamate and how can we use this to empower people in their lives? And I started in 2016 doing a series of workshops across the country called Happy Soul, because I think essentially that's all we seek. We just look for happiness, right? We look for happiness everywhere, in everything. And the fact is, if your soul ain't happy, you ain't happy. So, and the fact is, you have a happy soul. So let's find your happy soul. Let's rekindle your happy soul. Let's empower your happy soul to stay happy, because it is a happy soul. And there's this incredible journey called life. And all you have to do from the time you're born to the time you die is time pass. And all we do is fill it up with so much seriousness and stress and strife and struggle and get caught up in that whole process. And it's not necessary. Yes, suffering is a necessary experience because we're human beings. We're all going to go through some sort of conflict in our lives. We're all going to lose a loved one. We're all going to deal with heartbreak. We're all going to deal with some career issues or the other. We're all going to deal with a lot of problems that we will encounter. And it's not something that's exclusive to one person. It's everybody's story, right? Now, the same thing can happen to 2 people, and one will come out a victim and one will come out a victor. And what differentiates that is their attitude to what has happened to them, and how they've decided to respond to whatever has happened to them. And I think, to me, those are the biggest challenges when I was conducting my workshops, was going out there and reprogramming people. It's all a question of reprogramming, deprogramming, reprogramming, reinventing yourself. And those went from strength to strength. And then I decided to take the wellness journey even further. And I decided I was going to start Happy Soul as a big enterprise, where essentially I would start a retail chain. So you could introduce physical wellness, the great organic foods, because what you eat is very important to how you behave, how you think, how you feel, and your health quotient also at the end of the day. So essentially, I, started this retail store, which is multi-vendor, the best brands in wellness across the country, housed at Happy Soul. We have a first franchise as well. We started in Goa. We have a first franchisee in Kannur, Kerala. Very excited about that. And then we're now starting a wellness cafe. So the cafe model is launching. That also is on a franchise model. And that's again a wellness cafe with the most incredible curation of items, which is so different. You walk in that cafe and everything is so interesting. It tells you things about the world of wellness. It tells you fun food facts. It tells you really interesting things about your body, about nutrition, and it makes it very engaging for someone who's walking into Happy Soul to have that experience, as a cafe. And so that's where I'm at currently. And I do intend to start in next month. It's been a labor of love for a year already, which is my big business. Is the B2B2C resellers website, again, based on wellness. It's like an Amazon meets Meesho meets Oriflame kind of concept, big one. So that's the big one coming up next month as well. So yes, in every way, Happy Soul is poised to be a wellness wonderland. And therefore, I feel that whether it's my career as a film star, which enabled me to have a certain fan following, so therefore I have many more eyeballs looking at what I do today. So that's been a plus. My column in relationships, again, has given me a huge understanding into human beings, their issues and problems, and therefore how we can help give solutions through Happy Soul for them. So that again has led to the whole process. Reality shows and everywhere have challenged me to be, this daring person that goes out there at the age of 51 and decides, I'm going to start a brand new career and I'm going to be this wellness entrepreneur. So and so yes, so in every way, it's all my hats have taken me from strength to strength and exactly where I am today.
It sounds perfect. So tell me, why did you choose Goa to start with? I mean, like, why is there something special about Goa, and where in Goa exactly would we see you?
Well, I actually got my home in Goa in 2012. I bought this beautiful property, this old Portuguese home with a well, with mango trees, chico trees, papaya trees, banana trees. I'm growing herbs at the back. I have a well. I have a pool. So coming from Mumbai, which is a high-rise city, I have the ocean at my doorstep in Mumbai. I open my windows and I have this beautiful view of the ocean. There's Mud Island and there's all the way I can see the sea link and it's stunning. So I didn't miss the ocean. I just missed land, earth, growing things. So when I came to Goa, my whole purpose was to find a home that had a lot of land. And I wanted to grow things. And that's the kind of joy I'm experiencing today in Goa. And I find the people here very, very artistic and interested in these alternative sciences. And I love the fact I can just walk, barefoot on the beach. And I just love the fact that there's, my fiance Manik builds boats, so you can go out on the boats and you can, it's like, and there's an outdoor life here, which I can't really have in Mumbai as a city. There's amazing cuisine out here. There's some amazing restaurants, and the level of food has really upped its game in Goa today. And so in every way, Goa, and the best part about being here is that all my friends from Bombay and Delhi and Bangalore and all across India and the world, in fact, when they come here, I get quality time with them. And in Mumbai, I would meet them at parties and we chat and have this kind of conversation, which is fun, but very, very minimal. But when they come to Goa and most of them come and stay with me, it's an entirely different kind of bonding. I've got so much closer to people I've known for decades, but I've just got so much closer to them. It's so much more valid and valuable and fun. And everyone comes here and drops their masks. And that's the best part. People just come here, they just want to be happy. They come to Goa with that intention of just letting go of their stress, and they come in with the intention of just simply soaking in the sun, the sand, the food, the vibe, the people, and that's exactly why I love Goa so much. It's got everything here. And I have lots of stray dogs that come onto my property. So feed them all. I have a whole family, neighborhood of dogs and cats, and there are monkeys that come bounding across my terrace. And there are these frogs in my swimming pool. And my children get most freaked out. They're like, Mama, where are you staying? What is this? Come back to city life.
Absolutely idyllic. Yeah. Such an idyllic existence people, really aspire to, for sure. Right?
Yeah.
So you're really fortunate, touch wood.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I love it. I can get up in the morning, take a swim, pick a chiku off my tree, pick a banana.
Yeah.
Now the mangoes falling from the trees now. My Mankuraj mango trees on my property. So that the mangoes plopping down already. They've started. It's not even mango season. It's great. It's so exciting for me to have all this happen around me because I've never had it in Mumbai.
That's what I wanted to ask you now. This is such a wholesome, healthy, happy existence. And, you've come from a place, I mean, obviously you grew up in a lovely liberal family, but there was this whole time when you were in films and, sort of looked upon as the country's sex symbol, and, the way people portrayed you or maybe perceived you was rather different from this wholesome image, So at that time, I mean, how did you cope with, the objectification, which would have come automatically with the roles that you were playing?
I chose those roles because somebody had to do those roles and I was really good at doing it. And a lot of people had inhibitions about being sexy and being hot back then. Today, everyone's happy wearing a bikini and flaunting their legs in shorts. Back then, it was not okay. You wore a bikini and oh my God, you were sexy. That's all it took. I always say, there's different ages and stages in your life that you do different things. It doesn't mean you have to do one thing and then be stuck to that one thing your whole life. You grow, you expand your boundaries and horizons, you explore new aspects of yourself. And as you grow, you have a different understanding of the world and your place in it and what you would like to do further with new journeys that keep beginning in your life and new relationships also that you encounter during the course of your life. And let go of what is not working, whether it's professional or whether it's personal. You let go because there's more that awaits you. And it's amazing. The planet is so beautiful. People are so interesting. Journeys are so exciting, right? So to me, I always say when people say, you're so different from what I thought you were. Some people look at me and say, you're so simple. Some people say, you're so funny. Some people say, we didn't know you're so nice. And I'm like, and I look at them and think, you know what? I'm reminded of the story of the elephant and the blind man.
Yeah.
And they basically have these blind men who touch an elephant, and one touches the legs and says it's a tree. One touches the tail and says it's a snake. One touches the trunk and says one touches the tail and says it's a rope. One touches the trunk and says it's a snake. One touches the side and says it's a wall. It's an elephant. You can see whatever you want to see of the elephant. You can decide this is what it is, but it is an elephant. So everyone is entitled to their views and opinions of what they think about me. And that's valid from their perspective.
Sure.
But that's not the essence and the whole of me. And if they choose to want to be limited in their perception because some way that validates what they want to feel about me, good for them. It doesn't change my life in any way. So, or my journey in any way. So,
Did it change your life back then? I mean, was it difficult for you to maybe, be heard? Because now, I mean, you've been articulate, you have a voice, you've had a column for so many years, and people know how you think. You're a thinking person. But back then, maybe they didn't. And so, these perceptions, did they get?
I think the perception essentially was that film stars are dumb. Okay, that's number one. That was the biggest myth that every actress and every actor also has to always deal with, even on social media, go back to your movies or go back to being, they have this very attitude towards film stars, like, almost derogatory and slamming them and making them feel that's all they're good for, where, again, it's story of the elephant and the blind man. So, and yes, I came from a very bohemian family. I came from a very bold family. So for me, I guess it was a lot easier. Also, I was never forced into doing anything, in the sense I wasn't forced to wear a bikini. I always wore a bikini. So if I wore a bikini while I was lolling around the pool, I wore it in front of the camera. For me, it was the same thing because I was just used to wearing a bikini. So, and I enjoyed being sexy. I mean, I think it's a compliment to be called sexy. And if somebody has an issue with being called sexy, well, that's their problem, not my problem. I think, it's my mother, I remember, was walking down the street one day in this backless blouse, and some roadside Romeo sort of looked at her and went, "Baby, looking sexy," or something. And my mother stops and she looks at him and says, "Thank you." And she turns around and walks on. I said, "Mama, what do you mean thank you? Give him a slap, stupid guy, saying some stupid things on the road." She says, "Why?" She says, And I walked into a party at the Taj Mahal Hotel, and people are saying, hello, Prathima, hello, Prathima. And this guy walks up and says, oh, Prathima, you look beautiful tonight. Mwah, mwah, gives me a kiss on my cheek. What do I turn around and say? Thank you, right? He's saying the same thing. He just doesn't know how to say it elegantly, right? He's appreciating me, and I mean, it's a perspective, right? It's a perspective. And she chose to see it in that perspective. So she wasn't held by it. She saw it as a compliment, and she turned around, thanked him, and moved on. Had he probably come after her and chased her or something, she would have probably, done something different. But at that moment, that was her real response to it. At the same time, I've also seen her walk up a flight of steps in the theater when it gets dark. In those days, you run up these steps, it was dark, the movie had just started, and some guy pinched her bum. She caught the hand in the darkness, dragged that hand back down the stairs, and beat the shit out of him. So don't violate the personal space. Don't touch me.
So you learned all this early on. I mean, how to, see it from the right perspective, maybe deal with it in different ways depending on the situation.
I mean, it's like if I'm going to flaunt my bosom and expect somebody not to look, that's weird, right? If I'm flaunting something which is so beautiful and gorgeous, that and somebody stares at it, I'm not going to get offended as to why they stared at it. Right. So, I mean, I revel in being a woman. I think being a woman is my strength. If some people want to be demure, that's their prerogative. Some women want to flaunt and be sexy, that's their prerogative. I think there's a concept of each to their own that people don't get, because everybody wants to be the same and everyone wants you to be just like them. And everyone is against the idea of individuality, though we keep teaching our kids all the time, be different, do your own thing, but actually want your kid to be just like all the other kids. Study just like all the other kids, do things just like the other kids, constantly comparing them to all the other kids. I think from childhood, we're just trained to be like the others and not to stand out, because log kya kahenge, log aapki disha mein dekhenge, people will look at you, and especially in those days, it was about toning down, and not standing out. And I grew up in a very different environment. So, so to me, I think I was just really good at doing what I did back then. And I, my Kama Sutra ad, for example, went from strength to strength. It won national awards. It was heralded as the start of the sexual revolution in India by the British tabloids. It won many artistic awards, ad awards. So I think in every way, it's been a very successful journey, being the sex symbol of the country, being voted sex symbol of the country year after year through all these popular polls and magazines. And I just saw it as hugely flattering. I mean, it's just, I'm being appreciated at the end of the day. And thank you for that. And then you move on to other things, and then you go on to having kids, and then you want to be the best mother. First you want to be the best sex symbol, then you want to be the best wife, then you want to be the best mother, then you want to be the best divorcee, then you want to be the best relationship columnist, then you want to be the best, reality show star, then you want to be the best wellness entrepreneur. I mean, come on. Do something with passion, have vision, passion, focus, energy, enjoy the journey, do what makes you happy. I mean, it's such a short life. It's just, and COVID has taught us so much, and, about how short life can be, and how dramatic things can be in just the blink of an eyelid, how your life can just change and go all topsy-turvy. And if you look at the war in Ukraine today, for example, and you see all the sanctions being put, all the lives being affected. Oh my God, they probably never thought that would ever happen, and look, at those people fleeing their homes and fleeing their lives and fleeing what they built and taken themselves from strength to strength for decades, and suddenly they have to flee and run away from it all. I mean, it's so traumatic. So enjoy what you have while you have it. Make the most of your today. Everyone's so busy planning for a tomorrow, they forget to watch the beautiful sunsets. They forget to enjoy the delicious food that they're eating and actually savor it. So busy looking to their phones and other stuff, and they're just eating unmindfully. There's so many people who lose out on relationships. It's just, because they're so busy doing other things, they forget to actually tell people, I love you. Whether it's your mom, whether it's your dad, whether it's your loved one, whether it's your child, whether it's your friend. When was the last time you turned around and told your friend how much they really mattered to you and how much you love them? Or told your parents that and hugged them tight and said, thank you for putting me on this planet? When was the last time anyone ever did? Little things like this that make your journey more meaningful. We've lost the art of that. We must rekindle that.
That's absolutely great advice for anyone, any age, I think. even people coming into the world right now and people who've already achieved as much as you have, but still haven't found the happiness that you have. So great. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.